You weren't interested. Honestly, you could take it or leave it. And then someone told you that you couldn't have it. It's sold out, it's not available, you're not allowed, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you want it desperately. The thing you were lukewarm about a minute ago is now all you can think about. We've all lived this, and it makes no logical sense. Nothing about the thing changed, only its availability changed. So why does being told no turn mild interest into burning desire? The answer reveals something deep about how much we value our own freedom. The core force here has a name: reactance. When you perceive that a freedom is being taken away, that a choice is being blocked, your brain responds with a surge of motivation to reclaim it. It's almost a reflex. Tell a person they can't do something, and a part of them immediately wants to do it. Not necessarily because they value the thing itself, but because they value the freedom to choose it. The restriction itself becomes the provocation. You're not really fighting for the object. You're fighting against being told no. This kicks in remarkably early. Watch a small child. Tell them they can't have a particular toy, and watch it instantly become the only toy that matters, even if they ignored it 5 minutes earlier. We never really grow out of this. The toddler reaching for the forbidden object, and the adult suddenly obsessed with the thing they've been told they can't have, are running the exact same program. The freedom to choose feels essential to us, woven into our sense of being our own person, and any threat to it triggers a push to take it back. Layered on top of reactance is the power of scarcity. We instinctively assume that things which are rare, limited, or hard to get are more valuable. It's a mental shortcut, and usually a reasonable one, because in the real world, genuinely valuable things often are scarce. So when something becomes unavailable, the brain quietly upgrades its worth. Only a few left, ends tonight, members only, and the thing gleams brighter in your mind. Not because it improved, but because its scarcity tripped the value alarm. Marketers know this intimately, which is why everything is always almost gone. Put reactance and scarcity together, and you have a potent engine of desire. The thing is being restricted, which makes you want to reclaim your freedom to have it, and it's scarce, which makes you assume it's precious. Each feeling amplifies the other. This is the psychology behind the forbidden fruit, the oldest story we have about wanting precisely what we've been told we can't take. The prohibition didn't protect the fruit. It made the fruit irresistible. The no created the craving. You can see this all over human relationships, sometimes painfully. The person who's a little unavailable, a little out of reach, often becomes more desirable than the one who's openly, warmly available. Being kept slightly uncertain, slightly denied, can intensify attraction, because the restriction triggers the same "reclaim my freedom, this must be valuable" response. It's not healthy as a foundation for love, but it's a real pull, and it explains why people sometimes chase the ones who keep them guessing and lose interest in the ones who say yes clearly. The chase itself, the not yet having, becomes the drug. There's a quieter cousin of all this in how we relate to our own decisions. The moment you commit to one option, the roads not taken can start to look more appealing, precisely because you've now closed them off. The job you didn't take, the city you didn't move to, the person you didn't choose, they shimmer with possibility, in part because they're no longer available to you. Closing a door makes what's behind it more tempting, even when you closed it for good reasons. The mind mourns lost options not always because they were better, but because they're lost. Underneath the value side of this sits one of the most powerful biases in psychology. We feel the pain of losing something more intensely than we feel the pleasure of gaining something of equal worth. Losing freedom, losing access, losing an option, all of these register as losses, and losses hit hard. So when a choice is taken from you, it's not experienced as a neutral fact. It's experienced as something being stripped away, and the brain mobilizes to prevent the loss. The craving is partly just loss aversion in disguise, your mind scrambling to avoid the sting of having something closed off. Understanding all this gives you a kind of superpower, because you can catch the manipulation and the self-deception in the act. When you suddenly want something intensely right after being told you can't have it, pause and ask the honest question. Do I actually want this thing for its own sake? Or do I just want to win back the freedom to choose it? Would I care about this at all if it had been freely offered to me? No restriction, no scarcity, no countdown clock. Very often the answer is no, and the desire deflates the moment you see it clearly for what it is, a reaction to the no rather than a genuine pull toward the thing. This matters for the small stuff, the limited time offer, the impulse buy, the manufactured urgency, designed to bypass your judgment. But it matters even more for the big stuff, the person who only wants you when you pull away, the goal you only chase because someone said you couldn't reach it, the path that only looks golden because it's closed. Learning to tell the difference between true desire and mere reactance can save you from spending your life chasing things you never actually wanted, just because, at some point, you were told you couldn't have them. It works the other way too, and it's worth knowing. If you want to make yourself want something good, a little artificial scarcity can help. A deadline, a limit, a sense that the window won't stay open forever. And if you want to reduce a craving, sometimes the most effective move is to remove the restriction, to tell yourself you absolutely can have it, anytime, no limits. Strange as it sounds, taking away the no can take away a surprising amount of the want. The forbidden loses its shine the moment it's permitted. There's a parenting lesson buried in here too, and a self-management one. Forbidding something outright, with no explanation and no room to choose, tends to make it more attractive, not less. The flat no triggers reactance, and the restricted thing glows brighter. People who study this find that offering reasons and preserving some sense of choice works far better than a hard prohibition, because it doesn't slam the door on the freedom the brain so badly wants to protect. The same is true for the rules you set for yourself. Ban a food entirely, and you may think of nothing else. Allow it freely, on your own terms, and the obsessive pull often quietly loosens its grip. Next time something you barely cared about becomes suddenly, urgently desirable, the instant it's denied to you, stop and recognize the machinery at work. Your brain treasures its freedom to choose, and bristles when that freedom is blocked. It assumes the scarce thing must be precious, and it dreads the loss of any option more than it values the option itself. Sometimes the wanting isn't about the thing at all. It's about being told you can't. See that clearly, and you get to decide what you actually want, instead of letting the word no decide it for you.